Orchestrator. And we will create a small process in UiPath Studio, and we will call that process from the UiPath app. So it's not like calling the app. Simply calling the app is one session, and the next part is like so we will just send the inputs from the UiPath apps to the process and do some process into the some business logic, then getting the output from this process and display that into the UiPath apps. So these are all the simple session, and let us see. Let's go to the UiPath apps documentation. You can see here there is a UiPath app is a low code application development platform. Low code application development platform that enables you to build and share enterprise grade custom applications. So you can create a web application. So you can see below there is a call center application, right? There is a you can simply create by within a less time. So that you can see the red color like so quickly build the custom business applications to interact with the officers basically. So let's go to the platform.uipath.com. So you can redirect to this cloud.uipath.com. Within that, you can see there is a apps in the left hand side panel. Just click on the apps, and here there is a button called build a new app. So it is an app studio. So here they provided UiPath provides a app studio. So where we can just decide how we have a UiPath studio to build the processes, right? To design the processes. In the same way, we have a UiPath App Studio to build the UiPath apps. Let's create a sample UiPath app. So here you have an input. You can input the file. You have a file like we have a YAML files, CML files like that. We have a here. You can just simply create a UiPath app and export that as a one file, and you can share to the someone else. So like that. So if any app is there, if you want to open that app, you can just simply import here. Here you can see the import from file. Now we will just build from the scratch sample app. Click on the create button. So this is a UiPath App Studio where you can get in the left hand side all the pages. So what are the pages and activities? So basically controls, web controls. So all things you can see here like a project panel in the UiPath Studio, and then you have a add control options are there in the right hand side. You can add any type of control like so we have divided into the inputs, display, containers, and icons. So if you just expand this inputs, you have a button. Okay, so file picker, so text box, text area. There's a lot of activities are there. So controls are there. So just simply suppose for example, just take the box, text box, and if you want to take the label, you can take the label. So simply say the first name, right? First name, and this is like a text box where they can input the data, and then so simply create a button. So once they click on the button, so we will display hi, so happy new year to this person like this. So whatever the input they are giving, just put a name instead of full name. You can put the full name. So see, like that, you can drag and drop any control from this. There is a table label header. Header, if you want to put the header here, you can keep the headers. And also in the styles, there is every activity or every control, you have a totally 3 sessions here. So general tab where you can give the tool text and display hide or disabled, and events where you can create an event. So what happens once we click on that button or once we change some value from that. Okay, so you can create that event. It's the impacting like so creating the dynamic things and styles. So if you want to keep in the left side and this side, you can keep, and here something like this, user story. Okay, so and also if you want to change the header styles, H1, and also if you expand here, you can change the background color. So background color of this, and if you want to change the foreground color, you can change the foreground color. So all the things are there here. So bold, italic, and margin, and what is the size? If you want to increase more size, you can increase the more size. Okay, so this is like a, so we have a multiple controls. Each control have a 3 parts. So yeah.
There are some messages where your voice is not clear. Hello.
So your voice is actually going down and up at times. Maybe the earphone of the speaker is moving or something. It is fine at a moment. It drops at a moment.
Okay. Okay,
thanks, Chris.
Let me use my earphones.
No problem, sir. Because this is usual. And thanks for correcting it. Meanwhile, we have got some new joinees. Kapil is struggling to join. He's coming and going out. Perfect. I believe everyone has their account in cloud.uipath.com by now, correct? Did anybody don't have their accounts in cloud.uipath.com? I'm putting the link on the chat. These two are must for us, guys.
So, is it fine now?
Perfect, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So, what we are learning is like, so each and every control from here in the control panel, you're having the 3 sessions, like so general and events and sky. Now, let us in the buttons or anything, if you want to put the icons, so there's by default there's a lot of icons are there here. So if you want to, you can search from here, user or something. Okay, you can just select, and so this icon will appear here. And also, not only that, in the styles, you have a multiple styles. So okay, so if you want to click on the style, you can just select the style as per your wish. Okay, so and also the middle. Okay, this one also, if you want to expand the fully, like so just yeah. So we just dragged and dropped some small a label, text box, and buttons. So it looks like. So if you want to see, just click on the preview here in the above. It is auto save. Automatically, it will save whatever you were just doing. And here, this is a app. Our app looks like this one. And suppose, for example, Rajesh. So if you just click on the Rajesh and click on the button, so the action we didn't build. The action, if you want to build the action, there is a wherever you want to build the action, click on that particular control, and then go to the events, create a rule. We have to create a rules. So what will happen if that button is clicked? So you can see here the click activity. So the above consider the rule for the click activity, right? Click event. So here these all are actions you can perform. So you can perform the if condition or open the page within the, because this is a page. If you want to add the new page, you can add the new page. It's multiple pages. Normally we're seeing a website having the multiple pages, right? So the combination of the multiple pages, you just combine and create a website. So navigating to the one page to another page based on the user clicks. The same way, if you want to create another page, you can create another page like here, or just go to the button, create, and if you want to go to the URL, any URL, so you can just click on here and just type the URL, whatever the URL you want. So you want to open it in the same tab, just uncheck and in the new tab, you can check. Or a message box. The message box. What is the title of the message box? Okay. So welcome, and what is the message box? So happy new year, something like that. So what is it the information or success message? It's like a message box which will how much time it is automatically disabled. Seconds, 5 seconds it will automatically disable, and also so whether it has to come bottom or top of the screen, so you can set. Now once closed and click on the preview, you can see, just click on the button. What happened? We're just able to see the message box Happy New Year, right? So what we have to do, so we have to wish the person, so hello, whatever the name they are giving here. Okay, so we have to wish the that person. So what we can do, so click on this text box and save that whatever the value given by the user is stored in the one variable. So go to the general and value bind. Just click on the value binding, and at the end you can see there's a app variables, right? So click on the app variables. You can store that value, whatever the user is giving you onto the text box, store that value into the new user, something like one variable, drag and drop. So now, whatever the value they are giving in the text box, it will store into the new user. So new user, or just change here to the new user instead of new users. New user. Now, in the rules, just go to here. Instead of Happy New Year, so just use the equal to and simply use this variable. So we have to show this name. So within that, you can simply, like I said, dear, whatever the right, that variable name. Yeah, let us test. If you don't have save automatically, you can click on the save now. Okay, so it will save. Okay, save now. It will just automatically save by default. Yeah, suppose Syed. Click on the button. So see, dear Syed, happy New Year. So do you understand? Rakesh. Click here. Rakesh. It's like that you can concatenate, and so you can use the dynamic variables, app variables. There is app variables. Sorry. And if you want to display the today's date, so simply go to the label here, and style. See, in the general, so instead of this text, you can have a function, but provided that there is a function, you can use the conditions, and so for simple simple conditions in this simple validations, or there is a simple validations or simple conditions. We don't need to go to the process directly. We can just simply use these things here itself. Let's see. So we want to display the today's date. So today, just drag today and use the. So it will display the today's date. Click on preview, and you can see today's date to today's date, or now. If you just type the now, it will display the a current time also. Okay. So today's date, understand? And then suppose, for example, if this is a enable, right? This is a enable. If the text box does not have any value, if the text box is empty, right? What happened? My voice is again having the issue.
Yes, so it's actually something like going up, going down. Something like if you move your headset while talking, it's just like that. So are you finding my voice flickering, by the way, Sudhir sir? No, right?
Yeah.
So it is we're not getting the way that, like, how you hearing me now. Hey, mates, apologies. We're trying to fix it, guys.
No.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear.
Is it fine now?
Up to now, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe this time. So if it is a fluctuating, just let me know. I just sit and is it fine now? My voice? Hello?
Yes. Yeah. For now, it's good, Sudhir. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yes, maybe after 5 minutes, you just take a look at the chat as well along with us. Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you see this app having the button is enabled, even though there is no text. They can able to click, right? They can able to click, and so what we can do, so we can disable this button if there is no text within the text box. Yeah.
I think we're finding it again the same way. So maybe, I'm sorry to say this, if you're moving or something, just be.
Let me microphone.
When you're talking
are
to
you
us,
able to get my voice now?
Yeah, when you're talking to us, it is absolutely fine. Doing the presentation is slightly.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Is it fine now?
Sir, when you're talking to us, it's fine. While presenting, it's just
maybe.
So I don't think it's a network issue because the screen is absolutely loading fine.
Okay.
Let's go ahead, sir. Guys, let's do it, okay? Yep, let's do it. Thanks, Bablu.
Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah. So what we can do, so we can disable this button if there is no text available in this text box. So how can we do? So here in the button control, there is a hide and disable, right? In the general tab, disable. So there is a function called is blank. Is blank of what? Is blank of the text box. So whatever that they are entering the text box, that will store into the app variable called a new user. If it is a blank, then disable it. Let us try. Click on preview. You will see, right? So there is a button is disabled, so they can't able to. They cannot click on the button. So earlier there is an issue, right? So whenever we click on the button, it is just simply showing the only DR empty, right? Now, variations on tabs. So once there is a text available in that, it automatically enable, right? So like that. So these kind of operations, so we don't need to go to a process directly. You can just simply do everything here, and also just click here. So what is a location? So for example, there is a drop-down list, okay, and this drop-down list within that. Take the one label for the what is the city they are living. This drop list, if you want to add the list of items, so simply use the function called a list. See here, list, and within that list, give the items in the double quotes. Bangalore, comma. Okay, so this list will, let us simply click on the preview. We will see whether it is loading or not. All the values which we provided. See, which we provided, it is a populated. So, Suresh, and Suresh is living in the Chennai. Click on here. So, dear Suresh, you are living in the so happy new year, and we will click on the, so how is the weather in Chennai? Something like that, so we can call. So basically the concatenation. Okay, the concatenation. So we just simply use a label here. Okay, label, and within this, instead of tags, what we can do, we can have a function called concatenate. See, concat. These functions, just try to use the functions. So each function have their own functionality. So what we can do, so we can just simply concatenate hello, and then the username. Then what we have to do, so we have to just save this value. So whatever they are selecting. So there's, see here, the dropdown list having the selected value binding. So create a one variable to store which city they selected. Selected city is a variable, and you can use further this variable. Is equal to selected city. Okay, now we can use that selected city here. Hello, suppose for example, Suresh, comma, you in is our text, whatever the text, the static text if you want to, and you can simply use in the double quotes. If you want to use the dynamic text, so whatever the variables, just give here. So let us see, we saw the concatenation, and we're seeing the how to add the multiple items to the list, the cities we added, and see here, Raghu, and he's living in the Ongole. See, hi Raghu, you located in the Ongole. So if you just Bangalore, automatically it is it's like a dynamic text you can just display. Okay, so and now we will see a small process. So how can we call the process? Okay, just say like a milk vendor. Let's say like a milk vendor. So we'll create a new app for the milk vendor. Let's go to the studio again and create a milk vendor. And if you want to give a small image, so Google Images, something like a copy the URL, so the image URL, and go to our studio. And here there is a control called an image. So in the display, under display, there is an image, and see that as a in the center. And here, give that URL here. Also, you can just adjust the size of this. The size is was 25 is very less, 50. Okay, so this is a milk vendor. So image, we just added the image, and then so what we can do, so we can just access, we created the UiPath process. So what we will do, so we will just simply create a database file, simply add the one Excel file where they can add this information. So what is the customer name, and number of liters, and what date they are added. Here, what we can do, we can simply create an application. Basically, let me queue this one. Let us see. Yeah, see, already created one application. So anyway, you know how to create these applications and all the process basically. So take a new process and in the main argument session. So just give the what is the number of the argument name and what is the directions. The number of liters and the customer name is coming from the outside. So whoever is calling this process, they have to provide these two variables. Okay, these two variables. And so if you want to send output, you can send output. You create a output direction a variable. Then next one is I created the one build data table, so that you can create a just add the items. So add data row. So we're adding the whatever the two input variables and the time. So now dot to string. So the data table variable that is called as, and just simply appending the data. So I gave the default values. Just try to run, and we will check. So this Excel, we close the Excel. Okay. So see this Excel having the values. So what is the process? Basically, the process will do. So if you pass the two values, the customer name and the number of liters, it will add into the Excel. So now what we can do, we can this process from the UiPath apps. So just remove the default values. I'm just removing the default values and simply publish this one. Changing the name to the vendor. Simply publish into the orchestrator. Go to the orchestrator here. Okay, so you can have a process. So create a process. What is the process name? Milk vendor, and simply create it. Just select the environment, and this is also you already know. We created a process name, so that is a milk vendor. Okay, milk vendor. Once you publish your process to the orchestrator, so what is the next thing is you have to add that process into your UiPath App Studio. So how can we add? There is a plus button. Click on that. You have a process. You can add the process. Click on the process. Select the tenant name, and then so select the folder. Select for your process which process you want to add to your App Studio. So here you can see what is the input variables and what is the output variables and the data types of that particular arguments. Just click on the select. Now you can see there's a pages and there's a process. If you see the process, what all the variables are there. So you can see here the parameters. So these are all the two input parameters. Now let's go here and create a small like an application for the milk vendor. So just imagine the vendor is every day they have to note it down all the distributing the milk and how much they added. So which customer, how many liters. Okay, so if you want to some separate divider, take the divider. This is one line, horizontal line, it will come. And then so what we can do, so we can just simply use a label where we can this customer name. And then add the text box to feed a number of liters, not number of liters, customer name, and whatever they are giving. So here, store into the variable. customer name. Just drag and drop. So whatever user is giving the value into this text box will store into the app variable called customer name. And then so store the other one like a label. Here they can simply use the number of liters. And the text box, just keep the text box to input the number of liters. Here also just create a one variable called number of. Okay, just store here. So click the button. Submit or buy something. Okay, so add to database, add to database, something like that. So our design is ready, but what we have to do, so we have to follow the process once they click on the add to database. So here, go to the, select the button and go to the events. Within that, create a rule called, there is a start process. If you see the start process, which process you want to start? We want to start the process. Whatever the processes you add it into the App Studio will appear here, the resource panel. Just drag and drop, and within that, just select the unattended, and in that input orientation. So you have to assign the values to these arguments. So for number of liters, that's the argument. See here, the arguments within that process, and we're adding the variables to that, the values which is there in the variables. And again, the customer name argument is equal to customer name variable. So it will store onto that particular. So once it is started, when it is started, if you want something like a show or hide a spinner, show a spinner like a adding something like that. So any message, if you want to give the message box. When it is completed, just hide the spinner. So when it is completed, select hide this one. Okay. And also, so let us see up to here whether it will work or not. We have only single record in this Excel. The Excel is stored in the somewhere in the robot mission. And let us see, this is a vendor, and just giving the like a Hare Krishna. He used to take a 5 liters, click on the add to database. So you can see the small spinning button and adding milk to the database. So while it is adding, you can see the UiPath robot is working. See, UiPath robot is working, and it is added. It is completed into the. Let's open and see whether it's added from AppC. Understand? So what we done? The UiPath app is a web-based application. You can access that app from the mobile also, as it's the cloud-based orchestrator. Just go to the cloud.uipath.com and click on the apps and ready to use that app, whatever the app you are saving. So wherever, so you can give this thing. So this vendor application, milk vendor application to the milk vendors, and then they can simply go to the each and every door, and they can just so sell the milk, and they can just feed the information into the this app. Okay, so this app, and so it's all not clearing, right? This is not clearing. What we can do, we can simply clear. Once we add the information, we can clear the information as well. Okay, so how can we clear the information? So in these tools, you can add any number of actions. So set a variable here. It's like assign operator. Okay, customer name is equal to empty, and set a variable again for the number of number of, this one is empty. So, and if you want to display any message box, after that, show the pop-up, show message box, and display. And here within this, if it's completed, you can show the message box. Something like that. The information. So if any errors, if you want to show an error message box, you can just show an error message box. So basically the error, and so while adding unable to add data into the database, like that. Here, something went wrong. So like that, you can prepare the an app. So let me decrease this one size. So it seems like a bigger size. 20. Okay. Okay, so here, here that almost 6 liters he take, and now it is running. So you can see the UiPath assistant. So it is running the a milk vendor process. So now we got issue, and what happened? See, we got the error message also, unable to add in the pop. You can see, right? Okay, and also it's cleared the text boxes. So what is the issue? Excel is opened. Actually, I use the workbook activities. That's why. Do you understand? So luckily we got the error, and we can able to see the whenever the error is occurred, so we can see the error message also. Now, Prasad and 2 liters adding the milk to that, and you can see the pop-up. Once it is completed adding that, it will show the pop-up. So we successfully added the data into the database. At the same time, this is cleared. So for the next record, the text boxes are cleared. You can just check whether we got the data into the text Excel or not. The Prasad 2 liters is added. So this is how we can add the add the items. And also there is a beautiful thing like functions. So the functions, you can see here all the functions, and contains, ends with. If it ends with, you can just perform some actions based on these functions. Okay. What we can do, we can just retrieve information. So retrieve the information, how many liters, and perform. Okay, let us create another application. Up to now, we saw how to send the data to the a data to the a process. So, but now we can see get the data from the vendor. Okay. Get milk vendor. Something like that. So get milk vendor. So what we can do is we can just simply, if any person, so if they type a customer name, and we can see, so if the customer name is there, how many liters they added. So we'll see what are the two variables. One is the input by the customer name, input customer name. So they will feed the customer name, and out is like so number of total number of liters. So that is the out direction. Just give the out direction. And now, so let's prepare the read range. So read range activity to read the data from this particular read range and sheet 1 and give the entire range. And this is like so the output data table. So create a DT and here use a filter data table to filter the based on the customer. So here if the 0th record is equal to customer name in underscore customer, if the customer name is same, it's given by the customer. So what can we do? Otherwise, so today how many liters? So just imagine today how many liters. Okay, so DT and use the DT here, and then you can simply give the output. DT is dot rows dot count is greater than 0. So if any rows is filtered greater than 0, then we can simply assign out total number of records equal to so DT dot rows of 0 and column, which is the column number. The column number is a 2. So it's not total, so it's like so every day. So just imagine they have to buy only one time. Okay. So just here, if this is not, there is no record found. What we can do, we can simply use a 0. So when there is no record found, there is no user is available for that particular, then it will return the 0. Let us publish. Get milk, and what is the next step we have to do? So we have to go to the orchestrator and search, create and process get milk and set the environment. Next, create. So you can create a variable. So next step is adding the adding this into the process to the UiPath Studio, UiPath App Studio. So just check there's a get vendor, milk vendor. There's a two variables. One is the name, and another one is the name and what is the number of records. Okay, we will just use some divider here, divide the session, and then just use one text box. The label here, you can just simply use the customer name, which customer you want to check, and just take a text box to just user will give the values to this text box, and here you can simply use a variable called given user. Given customer, okay. We'll store in the given customer, and then disturbance is coming. Anusha something.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, and now just click on the button. So or instead of button, so you can just simply create a rule here itself, so the customer itself. Okay, so if this is having the values, so we can simply use a label. You can color the label like a so header, and give the label color red or green, and here. So let's give it that. Okay, so here the value. So the value is like this. So create a value like this. So total number of liters. Okay. So in the text box, we're just creating the n rule. So once the value is changed, so what we have to do is we have to call the process. And what process we have to call? Get vendor process. And here, what is the input variables we have to use? The input variables, the customer name is equal to what is it? The given customer. And then so once this is completed, what we have to do is we have to set the variable called the total number of liters is equal to what? Is equal to out variable. So is the direction is out? Just check the out direction is out. Yeah, this out is direction. Now let us try to test this one. Currently we have a Prasad, 2 liters, right? Just close this Excel and we will type Prasad. Prasad, and just there is some issue because it is, yeah, see, you got the 2 here, right? You got the 2. So let's make a little bit in center and the event also. So event also here, the completed. Here you can see it's like a so number of just concatenation number of liters by Prasad. Prasad, how can we get the Prasad? The Prasad is coming from basically the customer name, right? Given customer name, and is okay. This number we'll see, and then and also once these are started, we're not doing any something. So hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Sudhir, sir, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Sudhir, sir, can you hear us? We can hear you.
Okay, is it fine now?
Sir, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Just give me the confirmation. I'm not.
Sir, we can hear you. Can you check the chat?
Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah, now we're almost done. So let me run this one, the final bot, and we will see. There's 2 things. One is adding the item to the database and searching here, Prasad, or just click on the Prasad and just type tabs, getting the values from the database, and it is retrieving the how many liters the Prasad, the customer, which is specified by the vendor is purchased. See, the number of liters by Prasad is 2 liters. And if we okay, so what happens? See, it is rotating rotating. So we have to stop that. So when it is completed, see, when it is completed, the next step what we have to do is okay, spinning and disable, so that it will disable. Okay. Otherwise, what will happen? So it will just even though it is the process is completed, still it is a loading. So the milk vendor bought UiPath app is ready, and so they can simply feeding the information from the Upindra. See, Upindra, there is no Upindra available in that particular list, right? So now it will retrieve the as 0. Number of liters by the Upindra is 0. Add the Upindra, number of liters is like so 12 liters, and add. Now it will add, it will call, so it will trigger that particular process and retrieve the information. So it is added in now type the Upindra. Okay, let us check whether we got that Upindra or not. So we got the Upindra here. Now see, so that is a main use. So we saw that the functions and concatenation, and is it a blank, disable the text the button, right? So triggering from the text box, so calling the process by using the input arguments and output arguments, right? So we got everything, and also yeah, I think that's it, the basic from that. Do you have any questions?
So we have a couple of questions on the chat. We kept them for you, but most of them were answered.
Okay.
Looks
From
good.
So can we add the queue items with that? So Midun asked, can we add queue items with this data directly to the orchestrator? Yeah, we can add. Midun, so whatever you can able to do in the process, UiPath Studio, so the actually process, we can able to add the items to the queue, right? So like that, you can able to add the items to the queue, but not directly from the studio to the queue, but studio to the process. The process will add the items to the queue. How we send the data to the process? We send by using the input arguments, right? In the same way, Mithun.
Okay, one question. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So one question. So if we need to add the items to the queue, then we would definitely need an attended robot running in the background, which actually triggers or adds this item to the queue. So is there any integration which we can use within the studio that we can directly provide the queue name and then add items to the queue?
I think right now, so we don't have that facility as per my knowledge. So there's no direct connection from the UiPath apps to the queue. Okay, that's a good idea. So if you provide the simply queue name, so adding the items, but yeah, so we don't have a facility directly from the studio to the orchestrator queue. It has to go through a process. Okay, you can create a background process if you just using the same, because multiple background processes you can run in the parallelly, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And another question. So sorry, I have a couple of questions listed. Yeah. So is this only a web application, or can we actually create an exe application for our users to add this or trigger this process?
You can create. So there is some procedure is there, so you can create. Normally what we will do, so here so you can just simply once you go here, it's not published. So you have instead of preview, there is a publish button. So just click on the publish button, and it will publish into the, here it will publish. Yeah, it's published. And once you publish, what will happen? There is an option called export that into the your file, so to, others can load into their orchestrator, or simply share to the users. You can share to the users which whatever the users you have in the orchestrator, you can share into the users also. Not only that, so you can simply create like a exe file and into the desktop and store it. So here, if you see the assistant, in the assistant, you may have, let me, here, you have apps. So somewhere apps, the processes, you have apps also. So the apps, maybe if you have attended, so use unattended things. So maybe that's why it is not coming. If you have attended, and then attended, and the processes also should be attended. You may get here. There is an option called under processes. So you have apps. You can simply so once it is coming here, you can simply just send send to desktop, right? So you can send to desktop, so it will add. So there is a processes, but there is a facility to create a exe also.
Okay, all right, great. And whoever is using this UiPath apps should have an Orchestrator account as well, right?
Yeah.
So is it
correct? So they should have a UiPath Orchestrator account, otherwise they can't able to access.
So for example, if you have a UiPath app which gives the first name and last name of the person who is using it, so is it possible to get this data directly from the profile? For example, if I have an account and my name is given in the first name and last name in the UiPath account, instead of me filling it,
there is a facility. So suppose, for example, here, so you have a instead of vendors, you see here, there is a default values. You see name and last name, so you can combine those things and all by using that's a good question. So concatenate, and what is the by default? What is the first name of a particular person and the last name of the person? These are all the user variables. So which user is basically logged in? Okay. And also these variables you can use. So who submitted? Now that's a good question. So right now, just imagine we have a multiple users using the same application. We need the who is added this record in the Excel, the database Excel, and you can add the separate columns like so first name and last name of that particular person who logged in. We can add by using these user variables.
Okay, but in case I'm adding this item to database, and let's say I am adding 5 items in a day or 6 items. So is it possible for me to check, for example, this one has an Excel file, but there might be processes without Excel files. So for me, if I want to check what are the items I added in today or in the last 5 days, is there a reporting facility in the UiPath apps?
Yeah. So there is a facility. So to add to just list down all the tabular format data. So here this table is there. So you can just assign that. So what are the columns and these things and all. And from the UiPath process, whatever the things like so who is added and now so. Example, currently we have a date, right? So multiple dates we have to add. So yesterday's records are there, day before yesterday's records are there. But now, so if you want to click on the today button, so it will list out all the today's sales, like so customer name and number of records, right? These things and all. So you have a facility to just add into the tabular format data into the website. Yeah, the app.
Okay, but that again needs a process running in the background.
Yeah, correct. So the data is stored in the Excel, right? But actually, see here. So there is
without Excel. For example, if I am adding the
without Excel, there is something like entities. So we'll see in the next coming sessions. Entities data. Now we stored the data into the Excel, but so no need to store the data into the Excel. No need to call the process. Okay, so directly you can store the data into the data service. There is a facility of the data services provided by the UiPath. Okay, so we can store even though so whatever whatever we've done now, adding the items to the Excel, the customer name, number of liters, these things are also we can just send to the data service without any calling the process. No robot is required and that kind of requirement. Okay, directly not only that, so we can store the images into the storage bucket here.
Okay, all right, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. Seems like we are good, sir. We don't have a lot of questions out there. And guys, thanks a lot for joining. I have a small update for you. So there is a follow-up session to this. So what we learned is how to use the apps. I put the link on the chat where Mr. Sudhir is going to take us the advanced session after this. The next, maybe everywhere it is part 1, part 2 running. So maybe the part 2 of this session gonna happen. I have added the chat, the link to that event on the chat. Go ahead and just take that. RSVP there, and you'll get the notification for the next chat. And Sudhir sir, really thanks a lot, guys. And you need to share your small stories so that you understand how does this UiPath community work. So Jayesh is yes, you also get the recording, sir. I'll send you guys the link. So Jayesh is expected to take the session. Unfortunately, he's fallen sick with the most common disease that's going on all across, the COVID. He's healthy, but he's been quarantined, and we happen to request Sudhir sir at very last moment to take this session, and he immediately accepted our request. And whatever you see here, we actually have prepared it very quickly so that we don't not disappoint or upset you guys. So Sudhir sir, really thanks for making it in such a short notice.
Thank you, Sayed. Thank you very much.
And you guys might have a lot of questions around this event, a lot of things. Midun, you can consult it. I have added my LinkedIn profile link as well. Put your all questions there. Send it to me. If needed, we'll take these questions in a separate session with you, okay? If your company is looking for a use case, if they need some of the enhancement capabilities to be added, yes, I cannot promise you, but we can do it.
That's great. Thank you.
Perfect. Then please, guys, as we started this year with learning, I hope we all keep learning together. And yes, take care then. We plan for 1 hour, 15 minutes. We have saved 3 minutes. Cheers, everybody. Thanks, Sudhir sir.
Thank you, Sudhir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Sayed, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone, for joining. Hey, Schmidt.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, buddies. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. So there's a really rocking. Thank you again. That's,
Really nice session, sir.
yep, undoubtedly.
Unfortunately, so the voice is breaking. That's how come my
That's okay.
technical issues. Yeah.
That's what we together on. That's okay.
Yeah.
It was just a hiccup, sir. It's not horrible.
Hmm.
The last moment, so it is clear, right? So
Yeah.
okay, yeah. See you. Bye.
Take care, sir. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Pushpiji, just
Thank
try
you
to
all.
click the recording. I have recorded it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Bye-bye. See you guys.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.